Hello, in this video we are going to look at this problem from Coding Back under strings 1 called withoutX2. So let's dive in. Given a string, if one or both of the first two characters is x, return the string without those x chars, and otherwise return the string unchanged. This is harder than it looks. So let's look at the example. So the example here is that I have x high, and it should return high because the first letter is x. HXI returns high because the second letter is x. And if just high, I return just high. Now, a fourth example might be useful here because it would help us understand what this is looking for. And a fourth example might be something that if I had high x, that's going to return high x because the x isn't located in the first or second position. Now this is harder than it looks. And the reason why it's harder than it looks is it actually can be a little tricky pulling out letters. This is going to rely on a concept called string construction. And what string construction is I'm going to look at the letters that I want and build a new string with that. So to do this, I'm going to make a new string called result, and I'm going to put nothing in it right now. And we can string construct. So string construction is a process of building a string using concatenation. So basically adding things on. Now they tell us what the length of the string can be. So we have to account for if the string is, depending on the size of the string. So if the string is, let's start by dealing with just generally, and then we'll deal with size restrictions. Okay, so first thing I do is I'm going to say if str.char at 0. So this basically pulls out the first character, and I want to check are you an x? So if the first string character is an x, what am I going to do? Well, we don't want it because if the first character is an x, which is the character located at index 0, we don't want to include that. So I'm going to do nothing. But if it's not an x, and I show not by exclamation mark, I'm going to say result is equal to str.char at 0. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the second character. So if str.char at 1 is not equal to 0, or is not equal to x. Well, if the second character is not equal to x, we're going to do the same thing. And this is where string construction plays. So I'm going to say result is equal to whatever was in result already plus str.char at 1. And so this is string construction right there. My string starts off as empty, and I look, is the first letter not an x? And if that's the case, I'm going to add it on to result. And then I look, is my second character an x? And if is my second character not an x? And if it's not an x, I'm going to add that on. So now what I need to do is I need to add the rest of the string. So how do I do that? Well, I simply say result equals result plus str dot. And these first two lines are going to add the first two letters if they need them. And I'm going to say substring, and I'm going to go from index 2. Because index 2 is the third letter. And then I return result. And I will get some index out of bounds errors, and we'll deal with those in a minute. But generally speaking, I should get a couple of the test cases here. Oh, I have a problem. What's my problem? I can't add characters on here. So an empty string plus char. And hopefully I get a couple cases, and sure enough I did. So this error right here, just so you know, is that because this generates a character, I can't put a character directly into a string because they're different types. So I just put an empty string plus str.char. So let's look at where my errors are. My errors are all dealing with index out of bounds situations. So what I can do to deal with these index out of bounds situations is I can do the following. I can do some length checks. So I'm going to come up to the start of this code, scroll a bit. Let's get rid of this. And I'm going to say int length equals str.length. Again, I like to pull the length out and put it into a variable because when I do that, it means it's a little clearer for me to see what's going on. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, before I do any of the inspection of the string, I'm going to add a length inspection. So in this case, I want to look at the first index of the string. And this only works if the length of the string is greater than or equal to 1. So I'm going to say if len is greater than 0 here. So now, basically, before I go and check that character, I'm going to say, hey, is there more than 0 letters in this string? And again, this is a situation I've kind of talked about with arrays and as well as strings, where, there we go, I have to do this check before I pull the character out, because the way an AND operator works is that if the first operation fails, it doesn't actually execute the second one, and that's what's causing the index out of bounds error. Here, I'm only going to be able to check the second character if the length of the string is greater than 1. Because this is accessing the second character, which is located in the first index, and so it's only going to work if the length is greater than 1. And this isn't going to totally solve my problem. Oh, what did I do wrong? Oh, I spelled length wrong, the NGTH. Try this again. Not going to totally solve my problem because what's happening is this is still causing an index out of bounds error. So what do? I'm just going to put this in an if statement. If the length of the string is greater than, so let's see, if it's greater than 2, because only if the length is greater than 2 am I actually going to go and pull the string out, because this is taking everything from the second index or the third letter to the end, and that solves my problem. I hope this video helped, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Have a great day.